much for checking out Writing Strands. My name is Brittany. I serve as publicist here for Masterbooks. Today I am joined by our VP of Sales and Marketing, Brittany Pratt. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Today we're going to go over an overview of our course, Writing Strands. Could you tell us what grades Writing Strands is for?
Yep, Writing Strands is actually not a grade-based series as much as it is a skill-based series. And so when we're talking about Writing Strands, we typically would recommend about 5th grade is where you would start the series, and then through the next 6 levels going up to grade 10. But you can start it at any level if a student is ready for it, if they can write a sentence, begin putting together a paragraph, beginning to think creatively and abstractly. So don't think so much about it as a grade-based series as much as skill-based.
Awesome. And could you give us like an overview, let us know kind of how the course builds from, we have beginning 1, beginning 2, intermediate 1, intermediate 2, advanced 1, and advanced 2. How does everything kind of progress from, let's say, Writing Strands into this?
Well, the series starts with teaching to write a very basic sentence, then it moves more into the foundational skills of writing in general and descriptive writing to paragraphs, then putting together reports. I'll give it from the book itself, it gives an excellent definition of what the course is for. Throughout its levels, the series organizes writing into 4 strands: creative, argumentative, report and research, and expository writing. Success with the 4 strands of writing is contingent on how well students understand the following foundational skills, which are taught in the lower levels of Writing Strands: creative, basic, organizational, and descriptive writing. And then once the students have mastered these fundamental skills, they're ready to apply them to the abstract subject matter of the upper level books. And so they learn the very basics of writing, and then they take and build it more into the abstract writing skills in the higher level series.
Awesome. So kind of a 2-part question I've got for you. One, for a parent that's coming from our Language Lessons for Living Education series, how would they know what level to place in? And for somebody who's just coming to Masterbooks and wanting to start this course or is just looking into it, how would you suggest they go about determining what level would be a good fit for their student?
Good question. We have a placement guide at masterbooks.com where they can access kind of some guidelines for writing, and it'll tell, if they can write a sentence and maybe 3 sentences, this would be a good place to place. So that's a good indication of how they would place. I would recommend, and our recommendation is, you do Language Lessons for a Living Education through grade 6. At the end of language lessons, then use the placement guide. If they need a little additional practice at that point, you would back them up into beginning 1, beginning 2. If not, you would start in intermediate 1 and move forward for the next few years in Writing Strands sequentially.
Awesome. Could you give us a little bit, let's say we purchase Writing Strands, what is our day-to-day, week-to-week going to look like? What all will kind of be required of the student, and what all will be required of the teacher as well?
Excellent. Well, as far as the week goes, the system is set up with Writing Strands and Reading Strands. There were 2 programs when we bought the course. We combined them into one through a year. And so 1 week, the student is working on writing skills. The next week, they're working on reading skills. And so the idea is good readers make good writers. And they do that 13 weeks of writing and 13 weeks of reading. And that gives them the full year, as well as everything that they need for the skills. So in the student books, there is a daily schedule that tells every day what to do from day 1 all the way to the end of the course, 180 days, what they need to do to complete the course. So it's really easy to jump in anywhere and find that information. As far as what a teacher would be doing, we offer the teaching companion for Writing Strands, which goes along for the whole level. We've had a lot of parents report that this is worth every single penny, and that no matter what course you're doing, this is worth having. So what it does is it gives instruction in how to grade the papers, how to instruct students. All the instruction is in the course. You basically just have to work as a coach and evaluator of their work, and then give them some tips. This also has tips for spelling. Spelling is one of the big questions about the series. The way Writing Strands works is it works to focus on the words students are struggling with. It's application based. So when they write a paper, if they got 2 or 3 words that they're consistently getting wrong, that becomes their spelling list.
Okay.
And then at the end of the year, they will have worked through a large number of words, just practicing those words. So that becomes a spelling. The series also teaches grammar as you go. So as you're learning, as you go through and you're writing sentences or paragraphs, it's going to tell you the grammar that they need to apply at those different places. So it's kind of a grammar as you go approach. And as a parent, you'll just make sure that they're understanding those concepts as they go along through the course.
Okay, so it wouldn't necessarily be like test or quiz driven. It's not that the teacher would be grading the papers and reports and kind of looking at the students' work as they go along versus scoring an overall test at the end.
Right, and in the book itself, there's actually a grading rubric which tells them if the student does the work excellent, doesn't have any errors, it's an A all the way down to, what, an F. If they don't have an understanding, they need more work, it would be in the F. So it does give some grading tips on it as well for the papers.
Awesome. Would you have any tips or things that you found to be helpful to other parents, some of the feedback you've gotten maybe to help go through this course, help it to go as smooth as possible, and to get the most out of it?
Yeah, I think stepping outside the box a little bit. If you're used to a very traditional approach to here's the language, we need to, look at the sentences, underline the verb once, the noun twice type thing, dissecting sentences and diagramming and all of that. This is more of a communication approach to English. It's very descriptive in its nature. It's going to give the student a great ability to communicate their ideas effectively, but you almost have to step back and look at it with fresh eyes rather than trying to apply an old filter to a new curriculum.
Awesome. Well, hopefully that'll kind of help answer some of your questions. Thank you so much for kind of going through it and giving us a look through of what would be required of the student and the teacher. Again, hopefully that answers some of your questions and helps you make an educated decision for your homeschool. God bless.
God bless.